Hey fellas, this one has been on my radar for a while. Even before I compare this movie to how badly Thundercats Roar handled material, this movie is one of the most infamous adaptations of not just 1980s cartoon, but of any material ever. The point where it's been another flop that I've been wanting to review ever since I first heard about it, and now that time is upon me. Let's open up the 2015 live action Gem and the Holograms. Showtime synergy. One quick word before I begin. And while I was born in 1992, again meaning I wasn't live when the TV show was in its initial run, I was genuinely surprised by the storylines and seeing it in reruns and on streaming. Even in the 1980s, it did have a male following, much like Sailor Moon in the 1990s, or shows like Star Wars Wars of Evil or My Little Pony Adventure Magic with more recent generations. After a brief reel of online videos, opened on Jericho Benton, played by Audrey Peoples, talking about secret identities in video book and film story. Oh dear. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? Since her narration is too busy being faux inspirational and makes sense, allow me to summarize. Jerica and her sister Kimber, played in this film by Stephanie Scott, are the children of their late father Emmett, played by Barnaby Carpenter. The plot in the show is also kicked off by their father's death. That's one of the only similarities the film has with the source. We're only a few minutes into a 118-minute movie, folks. Rather than running an orphanage themselves, they live with their Aunt Bailey, played by Fort Evie starlet Molly Ringwald, and her adopted children Shanna, played by Aura Pereno, and Aja, played by Haley Kiyoko. Now, another mystery the film has their father's parting gift of sorts, synergy. I have some choice words for how the film handles this plot, especially in regards to turning the character into discount R2D2, who is also the film's version of Jericho's Flame Rio, played by Ryan Guzman. All I have to say about him and right now is thank goodness Richard Linklater and Fox 911 helped him escape this mess. Also, I'm intentionally not mentioning his parentage right now. We'll get to that later. Despite Kimber's objections, decided to shoot an 80s themed action montage as music video complete with earrings Jericho's father left her. You heard Chekhov's gun, now get ready for his earrings. Don't worry, that joke will make more and less sense later. As for the outrageous line, it's one of many attempts to gain fans' favor. It's not working. As Jericho looks over synergy, they inform the house is within 30 days of foreclosure at the grand pile of cliches. In this film, times a gem persona isn't created through holographic images, meaning the film's title is already simply an artifact. Only 16 minutes into this thing, it feels like an eternity. Furthering this is when they upload a video online and it goes viral in an instant after only a few thousand hits. Huh. Sometimes I had to re-upload stuff when it gets a 95% processing error. The film also changes the approach to Starlight Records with her head Erica Raymond, played by Juliette Lewis, offering her 3 shows in LA and recording contracts. It really says something when gender swapping Eric Raymond is actually the least insane change they've made. Also, the water skiing score was a date reference before this movie came out. I know Bailey and Jericho trying to bond later too, but I really don't like how the movie glosses over the loss of her parents. More on that later, since back and forth email between Jericho and Erica is nowhere near as interesting as the movie thinks it is. Don't have anything personal against John Chu as a director, but it's not beating how someone like David Fincher can make a scene like this work. Cutting between a drum session isn't helping either. I am not really wondering about the plot, more of much how Apple and Google pay to get in the scene with their competitors. Erica grudgingly agrees to send a car for the band the next morning, dream of security detail Zipper, played by Nathan Moore. Naturally, he hasn't had that many big roles since this film, but he has been doing fine on TV as both an actor and a producer at least. Admittedly, though Lewis is trying what little she's given, somehow I'm not sold on her as a villain and as her counterpart in the TV show. She seems less like a corrupt record producer, more like a slightly off-kilter influencer. That said, she'd probably get along with Kardashians and Jenner just fine. Conveniently, Jericho thought to take Synergy LA because she brought out the script. Also, remember we were him earlier? Well, he's not only intern for Starlight Records, but also rather than being Rodin Jericho's beau, which he technically still is, He's also Erica's son. At least they kept his background with Guzman's casting. Still have 90 minutes left, folks. I personally don't get this scene of Erica dismissing Jericho's bandmates. They look like they're from a Vanity Fair photo shoot even with their street clothes. The only real purpose this scene has is so her security guard can lock the earrings in her safe. Real subtle, fellas. Do you have a sea of transformium in there as well? So, 30 minutes in, the tourist premise is unveiled, and Erica already has a concert mocked up. Key with the next montage features a car returns to original actress Jerica, Samantha Newark, as a stylist. Wonder what she thought of this. Anyway, Erica has Rio take everyone in their place in Hollywood Hills. I had to wonder if Michael is going to tell people to stop firing rockets at his house again. Now, to be fair, part of me was hoping the movie could at least try to modernize the premise in a way that made sense, but now it's about to go off the rails. Synergy, when the cartoon was supposed to teach the holograms at the surrogate mother Jerica and the others, instead a Kirkland brand BB-8 who sends the girls on a fetch quest to find their piece of the robot. This naturally did not sit well with fans, and I share this sentiment. A map to Luke Skywalker has been missing for 30 years, I can understand. Sending your daughters and their coach Santa Monica after hours for something you could have easily just given them? Not so much. It only gets worse from there, folks. The next piece is at the Open Air Club. Though the movie takes place creative abuse of Rio's character, I actually don't mind how he actually tries to help Jerica and her bandmates, which was different depending on which episode of the show he was in. He did get better over time, though. Still, the movie is basically making him a spear version of the Manic Pixie Dream character type that doesn't want to run the business like his mother. In the show, creators use Mal Evans, the Beatles' personal roadie, as reference point. The next day, Erica launches Jem's tour, and Rio is both the Open Air Club with Jem's performance. How convenient. Wow, this photo shoot of the club looks so telegraphed. I know Erica's supposed to be the corrupt corporate executive and all, but even Effie Trinket would think that's a bit much. The band performs, really sounds something when even Youngblood, a song made for their first major performance, sound no different than anything else I've heard in the top 40 of my life, let alone the last 15 minutes or so. The second piece is one of the guitars on the wall, and there's a power outage leading to a distraction with acapella and everyone's mobiles. Jem then goes acoustic with the guitar she needs. The movie's full of convenient things at just an hour in. Granted, it's co-produced by the same toy maker that had a key artifact on eBay, but still, there are easier ways to leave your kids gifts than this. On that note, I wonder if the earrings she was left are linked to our cartoon counterpart what they need. Now, we get one of the more infamous parts of the movie. Editing bits not only of Jem fans John Old Clay talking about the show to make it look like they're talking about the film, even people who had never seen the show before were livid when they found out. They couldn't even get Jimmy Fallon to film something new for the movie. Come on, it can't have been that hard to get. Then again, they couldn't do anything new for Dwayne The Rock Johnson either apart from Battle of the Crips. Guess he was too busy counting the money he made from those Fast and Furious movies. Neglecting how awkwardly they did the same with Chris Pratt more than one. He's probably too busy counting the money he made from Jurassic World and the MCU. Also, we only have 53 minutes left and filming doesn't leave much of an impression. Sure, I'll admit I wasn't a target audience for a TV show either, but I appreciate how earnest it was. And it made lots of people devoted fans for years. I'm honestly surprised how this one got theatrical release when it looks like a slightly glossier DTV movie. Once again, I'm not really buying Erica as a villain, given how many things her counterparts in the TV show did in its run. Apparently she's found out about Synergy and wants to assign the label exclusively. Neglecting how legally dubious this scene is, why not try to patent Synergy and sell that? Sure, it's not quite as impressive as it was in the show, but it's a kind of do-it-all smart toy that would sell millions in its first day on the market. I live in a place where the deluxe model of DO had people lining up like they would to get a new iPhone. So, Jerica signs a contract as Jem, undermining Erica's plan, and then leading to a bulk standard third act misunderstanding. And I'm not sure Kimber is acting again. She might generally think this isn't right, and I agree. She's led on stage in her best Lady Gaga cosplay, and it's basically like a community version Let It Go, minus Ice Cow saying anything meaningful. Jerica and her companions reconcile in the course of one song, with the help of Rio, steal back the earrings from Erica's safe. Again, if he's her son in this continuity, couldn't he just give them back and say the maids would place some more cleaning? It would basically have the same effect in terms of story. Be better than another water skiing animal video. At least in that TMNT film that came out the year before this one, it made sense for Mikey's character and the Total's pop culture habits for the keyboard cat gag. Jericho then slips out as a gem persona, which is somehow less convincing than Team Rocket's wearing open jackets to uncover the red R in the uniforms. The earrings are indeed the last pieces they need, which complete their energy and lead to a message for Jericho that mostly glosses over Kimber. For the last time, there are easier ways to leave messages for your daughters. Of all the home movies and other videos this movie has, couldn't he have recorded a goodbye message on its own or a video will even? Heck, even Erica, the villain of the movie, knew how valuable all the father's will was. Rio then uses that as leverage to take over the company and do it his own way. This could have easily have explored how they dealt with their father's absence the way the cartoon did, even including the late mother Jackie as a major plot point. Instead, we get a finale that bookends already shaky grounds for an update, when Jericho decided not to upload the video in favor of taking the stage with her sisters. It even keeps up the point of using the fan base to talk about the movie on the show, and Jericho saying Showtime standards have to twist the knife that's already deep in their backs. Erica then tells Bailey this isn't the end, as if this drug was actually getting a sequel. Yeah. The cast of Simia's Fantastic Four says hi, Erica. On top of how the end continues to misrepresent the fans, one clip, which even has a show playing in the background, honestly, one of the people also covering the event is the show's original creator and head writer Christy Marks, playing Lindsay Pierce. Wonder what she thought on the film's take on her work. Anyway, there's a Marvel wannabe staying with the Misfits, some of the show's major antagonists. Roxy, played by Hannah Mae Lee, Stormer, played by Katie Finley, Jetta, played by Isa Gonzalez, and Pizzazz, played by Kesha, of all people. They actually could have worked given what they did on the show. Kesha was even in jail in real life. They actually wanted to have a crossover with G.I. Joe and Transformers 2, instead, that won't happen. Again, Piccolo in Dragon Ball Evolution says hi. Even on a budget of $5 million, a fraction of the $150 million spent on the first Transformers and $175 million spent on the first live-action G.I. Joe, this film made less than half of that worldwide, earning just back over $2 million at best. It's another one of the worst openings ever for a movie playing over 2,000 theaters, which averaged only a couple of people per screening by my count. After the abandonment in 2 weeks, the movie was pulled from theaters, being lambasted by critics, audience, and fans of TV show alike. For all the faults people might have with them, other live-action takes on 80s properties at least try to offer something that gets the appeal of the source. Transformers did indeed have giant robots wheeling on each other. G.I. Joe did have paramilitary combat with fantastic weapons. And TMNT did have giant turtles that used ninjutsu to fight crazy supervillains. Even the most murder-driven IP still has a compelling backstory and character of what they're doing, something that helps it endure long after the original version is over. This film, however, not only failed to do that, it also misrepresented what made it seem so beloved. It's often forgotten lesson in the entertainment industry that's almost the old industry itself. The biggest mistake you can make is trying to please everyone. If you do that, you're guaranteed to please almost no one. Not only is this movie a poor taking this onto age TV show, and a gross misrepresentation of new fans it aims for, it is arguably one of the worst reboots I've ever seen. The IDW comic think it did a much better job at a reboot of the series, so go read that instead and let this only be remembered in its infamy. My final rating is 0 stars out of 4. This was a long time coming, and I'm glad I finally got this truly outrageous flop out of my system. Later.